All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's book review day. Today we're doing a little bit different. You know me, I love my UFOs. And when I saw Bob Lazar, oh God, Bob Lazar had a book out. I was like, oh my God, because Bob Lazar, that's the word. Bob, not Laser, Lazar. He's the guy who's been a whistleblower for Area 51. And when I saw this book, I was like, right, forget everything else I'm reading. I'm reading this. I read it in 2 days, I think it was. It's a brilliant book. It's called Dreamland. Bob Lazar. Lazar, yeah. And he, by the way, he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast as well. And he's awesome. And I believe his story. Many people out there doubt it, but I believe it. So basically, long story short, Bob Lazar, he was this crazy scientist. He had a jet-powered car. Yes, a jet-powered car. He's that crazy. He put a jet power engine on the back of a car. And so he used to drive around with it and he really fast, obviously. And then so with that, he's just this crazy scientist. All of a sudden, Area 51 got in contact, or the government got in contact and said, will you work on this project for us? By the way, you got security clearance, And he got put in this room with this one guy called, I forgot his name. Anyway, and they had to, what's the word, where you re-engineer it, or basically have to take it apart and find out how it works. And so we can make it ourselves. And he got a book and told him where it came from and stuff. It came from this hundreds of light years, millions light years. Anyway, a long way away in space from this galaxy. And it came from there. And he had to look at it and re-engineer it. That's the word. He had to re-engineer it so we could put it back together. And basically what it was it allowed gravity it used gravity to not exist, and it could bend space and time. So basically his way of describing it was, the way this spaceship can travel through time so much is if you put a bowling ball on a pillow, it sinks down. And that's expected. And so what you do when it sinks down to move it is you press in front of it. So you press in front of it both sides and it moves. And that's exactly how it moves, because it uses gravity for itself. And it uses gravity against itself. And then also it can bend. So imagine sheets of paper. You can bend a sheet of paper. So if you want to go from one end to the other, you fold it in half and then you go through it. And so obviously very stupid analogy, but that's ultimately what you can do. So you can go vast distances really quickly because you can just bend space and time. And anyway, and he had to re-engineer this, and finally got to see the craft as well, and the full craft, and he's going around it in jet propulsion and all this sort of thing. And he's talked about it for 30 years. He's never ever changed his story, and it goes through exactly his experience with the government. He was on the freeway and somebody shot his tires out and stuff, and that he got loads of calls saying if you go to Japan and talk about it, then you won't ever come back from Japan. You get what I mean? And put the phone down. And so he didn't go to Japan and talk about it. And yeah, he was a whistleblower because he thinks that we've got the right to know. And the government now have completely wiped his history. And so if you look, so where he said he's gone to school there, no, there's no record of him whatsoever. However, there's teachers that remember him. And so there's all sorts of I'm getting goosebumps now listening to it. It's a really good book. If you're into UFOs or anything like that, then this book is brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Bob Lazar, take my hat off, salute you. His wife, one of his wife died of a disease. His other wife, because he was working so much at this Area 51 base and couldn't talk to her about it, she had an affair, and now apparently he's happily married and got grandchildren from her side as well, step grandchildren. So yeah, he's a wonderful man, and go and check out his Joe Rogan interview. He explains it much better on there than I have here, but it's a great book, really, really good book. Really enjoyed it. And if you're geeky like me and enjoy stuff like this, then yeah, it's for you. All right, my friends, I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.